Hello, 11,671 subscribers. I have made $44,885.70 in the month of June 2025. And to be more precise, in the first 15 days of June. I am sharing this because right now I will say very controversial things for most of you, and I want you to feel comfortable listening. You don't need to agree with me, and you probably won't, but the thing that I want you to respect is the fact that I make money selling automations. Now, if you could go in the first link of the description, you will see that I sell a license to our sales system called OnePrompt, which is the license that is built for guys like you who want to sell AI solutions. And of course, it might seem like that the majority of the money that I make come from selling to people who want to sell, aka selling the shovels. Even though I never had a course and I was never selling an AI community, this is still a product that is designed for people who want to build their AI agencies. And I think that this is the best product on the market, of course, as any entrepreneur does. But this is the money, the $44,000, that didn't came from this side of my business. I have two businesses. The first one is Quimple, which is my AI agency that I started 2 years ago. And the second one is the OnePrompt, where we built AI sales system and license it to people. By the way, as a quick disclaimer, we're selling AI solutions to holistic health professionals and to a few other niches right now actively ourselves, and even running the ads. And I'm gonna share the results a bit later on this channel because I share a lot of the things that I do here. But for now, this is out of the equation. So the thing that I want to talk about with you today is the fact that I started to see more and more vibe coding narrative on the YouTube. And again, YouTube, because I'm the YouTuber, I'm the content creator. I sometimes even think about myself as an AI creator rather than entrepreneur, even though I am entrepreneur. But I always love recording videos. And as you can see, even though I have 11,000 subscribers, I post very actively. Not all of my videos get viral. There are people with the same amount of subscribers that have much higher view counts than me. But I want to be honest, I want to record the things that I like, and I want to speak about my own experience. That is why maybe this video is not gonna get the views I feel it deserves, but again, I am doing it because I love the industry. I genuinely feel that AI is going to change the world, and right now, how we sometimes might feel and think about the billionaires like Jeff Bezos or Zuck, saying, yeah, of course, they get rich when the internet was booming, and they actually got their piece of the pie while everything was going parabolic, right? So when the adoption was going up. So they were here, and that's how they made that much money. By the way, as a quick disclaimer, I don't believe that I will ever become a billionaire, nor I want to become one. But I think that we're in a very similar position right now. We're in the very, very early stages. Like, I think most of us still underestimate how early we are and how good of the technology this actually is. So maybe this is the first time in the human history where we're seeing something that is getting born artificially, that is close to human in terms of, like the brain capacity. Whatever, this is a separate topic for the discussion. Now, this narrative of the vibe coding has been, around for a few months now, but recently started to get the traction. And I was kind of okay with that, pretty much, because that was all about the softwares. Right here on this channel, we primarily talk about AI agents, primarily talk about AI automations and AI agencies. We're not talking that much about AI startups, how to build one, how to become a solopreneur on a Bali, shilling the lifestyle type of the things. But I saw, AI, not AI agents, but interface. So started to see the videos where people started to actually promote building interfaces like this, infrastructures or systems, rather than just the agents. And again, don't have any problems with that. No, you do need the systems to fix problems. But the actual narrative is a bit different because they are shilling the actual interfaces as the solution, or the software or the platform as the solution for the problems that you're trying to fix. When in reality, this is not the case. And right now, I will explain you why. So, yeah, I do think that the vibe coding as a term, at least in terms of how people position it right now, is a myth. Now, to be completely clear, what I talk about, when I say it's a myth, I mean when it's vibe coding business. Because I do think that you can vibe code. It's like you code on the vibe, so you have an easier time coding something or developing a certain project. This is surely a thing. And this is the objective truth, because you have, guys like Lovable, where you can really build very cool things with just one single prompt. So this is the objective truth, that it's easier. But it's not easier to build a business using the vibe coding techniques, nor it's not easier to make money. So let me explain. As you probably already see, the barrier of entry in the AI space is very low. It's unbelievably low. And it's both a good and a bad thing, depending on who you are. Now, from the developer perspective, right, from the pure development standpoint, this is a good thing. Because if you're getting into the niche, you have all these AI tools, softwares, and apps that make it very, very easy to develop something. In reality, let's say you want to build some sort of an agent that will help you with your meetings, right? So you can just go here and say AI calendar agent. And even if you have a very, very basic understanding of all these no-code tools, okay? So, spend 1 week understanding N8N basics, right? So go through a few videos here, then go through prompt engineering, okay, basics. This will take you a few days, and then actually go and watch 10 videos of the calendar agents, and I am telling you that you'll be able to pull it off. Now, has there been any time in our history where you can really build something online that powerful? Because yeah, in reality, like even simple calendar agents can be very powerful if you're a very busy person. Of course, there's a lot of buts: the accuracy, the privacy, the error handling, the actual interactions. Of course, I'm generalizing a lot of the things. So it has never been easier. And even if you're a beginner, you can pull this off. So what I'm saying is the barrier of entry is very, very, very low. So many people right now coming to this space by 2 reasons. First one, they are curious. They understand that this is the future. They want to learn. They want to be here. They don't want to be like a grandpas that have no idea what the cell phone, or like how to use the cell phone, okay, or the internet, these guys. And that's great. That's awesome. And the second type of the person is these guys who want to leverage this to make money. And this is where the problems start to pop up. Because the barrier of entry is very, very low, everyone has access to the same toolbox. So your tech stack isn't special. Everyone has it. Everyone see the same tools. And yes, of course, you're smart, let's say. And you can say that you will be able to figure everything out faster. This is a valid point, but in reality, it's not that big of a difference if you will figure a tutorial out on how to build something within a week. And then there is a person who's gonna move slower, who doesn't have that much experience in the online space, who comes from the actual like physical brick and mortar world, will figure it out in like 3 weeks. So what? Like, you don't have the leverage, because we're talking about the long-term success. Okay? So from this slide, I want us to be on the same page. I'm not even talking about the competition, okay? I'm just talking about amount of people who have these same tools, stack, and education materials as you do, okay? So you are starting, you may start from different places, but eventually everything will be equalized because, there's so much information. And now this is where the actual problems start to pop up. It feels like, because you can build so many interesting things, let's put it that way, it's like interesting. It feels like you can sell them and you can leverage them to make money. In reality, a lot of people right now, most of the people, trying to solve problems for the businesses that do not exist. You are focusing on the things that either business doesn't need or the business is already fixing and solving in an efficient way. And I'll explain what the efficiency in the space means. So in the top of this pyramid is obviously like real problems what companies will pay to solve. Then there's like problems with budgets, because there are so many different problems. And then there's like your fancy dashboards that kind of doesn't do anything, they're just cool. The thing that I want you to understand is that this top of the ladder, the problems, the actual real problems, have been already solved. Okay? So you are not solving the problems that the business hasn't solved yet. Again, I'll repeat. With the AI tools, with the AI interfaces, you will solve problems that the business has already solved. You will just solve it in the most efficient way. Now, if you've been in the startup like IT space for quite some time, even before the AI, you might feel this. Like if you go to the Y Combinator, right? And you'll see the things that they invest into, which been proven like majority of the things is trash. And again, they're like the venture fund, so that's pretty fine. Or you'll go to the Product Hunt, right? And you'll see so many things popping up here, like the new tools, apps getting added. And of course, like the majority right now are all about like LLMs type of the thing with AI. But if you've been on the Product Hunt for quite some time, even before the AI, you will see that you would see the majority of the things are just random problems that people trying to fix without them needing to be existent. So they are solving problems that people don't want to solve, okay? Or people already solve, and this tool doesn't actually help on making it more efficient. Businesses being here meaning like on this planet for what? Wait, 2,000 years? Okay. And the online businesses, or like this online space being here for what, like 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. Don't you think that kind of any business that you can potentially choose to work with can already solve most of their problems without AI? Guys, hear me out, this is very important. I am not saying here that the AI is not needed, okay? I am making money with AI. I have the agency and I have the plans to build a multi-million-dollar company. What I'm saying is that you need to understand the business psychology 101. The problems that, for example, the businesses can pay here, and of course depend on the industry and the business, but let's keep it very simple. Client acquisition, okay? Marketing. Businesses have been solving these problems for quite some time, okay? Or like sales, or communication, or customer support. So even if you get the customer support, you can technically do anything. You can hire an infinite amount of customer support sales reps that will work 24/7. It will not be efficient, but what I'm saying, this problem can be solved. So all the problems that you are going to solve with the AI has been already solved. And you would need to compare your solution, your vibe coding dashboard, your AI agent automation or system to the solutions that the businesses developed for their existing problems. And you would compare them in terms of the efficiency. And we'll talk about this a bit later. So, developers usually talk about AI agents, cutting-edge interfaces, transformer models, technical features. And you can really see it by even looking at my YouTube channel, okay? Like Eugene Kanzen. I post different content, and you can see that the content, the technical content, usually gets more views. Now, I don't know how many views this video will get, but I'm not sharing anything technical. But I would bet a lot of money that this average business-related video, the video that actually give you an understanding of the AI business basics. Now, I am not saying that this is the best video in the world. What I'm saying is, at least this is an alternative point of view from someone who is actually in the industry, and at least that should be interesting to the people who want to potentially be in this niche. But it will get much less views than the videos about N8N or the videos about AI agent army type of the things, where people explain how to build something. And now you might say, yeah, Eugene, of course, because this is technical. So a lot of people need to figure out the technical aspects first, and then they will actually try to sell it. This is fucking wrong. Okay? I'm sorry. This is my opinion. It has been proven by thousands of people, hundreds of communications that I've done with business owners one-on-one. This is not how it works, okay? So the majority of the market, and this is, again, the YouTube is a great representation, focus on the business, on the technical aspects, right? But actual businesses are looking for the problems, for the money to be saved, for the time to be saved in the results they can explain. So that is where the disconnect happens, because there are, and I'm sure people that will watch this video, I'm talking to you, you might know how to sell something, right? But you may say, hey, Eugene, I know that, but I need to master the basics. I need to master something that I will want to sell, something that I want to offer. So I want to be confident in this solution. Of course, and I agree. But there is a minority of you guys. The majority are an opposite. The majority are the guys that have no idea how to sell something. They have no idea what they're doing. If I personally ask, okay, let's get a random video from Nate. 900,000 views. Ultimate Team of Agents. Of course, again, this got giga popular. So, most people here are not like planning to sell AI, so whatever. But if I ask 100,000 people from watching this video on, so like, why you're watching this? Like, so what's the point? Like, why you're stuck in this loop of learning different tools, agents, softwares infinitely. Let's say, yeah, it's cool, it's an AI agent, I can build it for the company, it can do everything. No, it fucking cannot, okay? No one's gonna buy it. So you need to be aware of the fact who you want to be. If you want to be a developer here, yeah, sure, watch the videos. I don't have any problems with that. But if you want to be a business owner in this industry, you can leverage the actual competition, the low barrier of entry, a lot of people coming to the space. You can leverage this fact. Become a business owner who is hiring all these developers for your agency for pretty cheap prices, right? Because the majority cannot sell and you can. And actually make the money in this arbitrage. Now, the efficiency isn't always the AI. Again, this is very controversial point for some of you guys, but I feel like you need to hear that. In a lot of cases, business can hire people very cheaply if they're smart with their hiring, if they know how to delegate. Not all of the businesses, of course. There are nuances. I'm generalizing. But let's take AI voice caller as an example. It's very, very, very popular use case right now. If you go to a retail right now, and if you actually see the prices per minute, when you are going to calculate how much it's going to cost you per minute, like here 0.138, of course I'm using the best models. I'm not optimizing the cost because I don't care for this specific agent, but what I'm saying is that if you're talking with a franchisor who is receiving thousands of calls, you might, and like depending on the business, you might find the fact that they will pay $5,000 per month for your solution. And again, depending on the business, they can hire an entire outsourced call team to do that. Now, of course, they might not want to do that. They might not able to do that. This may be specific to the business why, but it is possible, technically. So you need to be aware of this. So AI is not always the answer. Now, of course, guys, I am not saying here that the AI phone callers are bad and are not sellable. No, like, I actually sold one last week, planning to show it on the YouTube channel as a case study. I'm using one for my own funnel, and I was already recording quite a few videos about it. What I'm saying, you need to think from the business perspective. So you need to be aware of the alternatives, because again, if we are comparing, right, the solutions to the problems, business receive a lot of the inbound calls. They probably already fixed this problem. Of course, not a lot of businesses do. They miss a lot of the calls and they're just too lazy or too busy or not technical, not entrepreneurial enough to fix this problem. Okay? But they can. Okay? And they can by hiring Jordan, who is a cousin of your business partner, friend, like, to handle all the calls, okay? Or like your aunt. Now, again, this might not be the most efficient way, and you come to the business and say, hey, you hired Jordan, here's our solution, and this is why it's better. But when people come to the business and say, yeah, we have AI callers, so fuck Jordan, like it's gonna replay. It's like, why? Okay, so why? It's gonna answer. Okay, it's gonna answer like them 24/7, but maybe they don't need it. You need to ask, so why haven't you sold it yet? Maybe it's too expensive. So now here's our solution. Our solution is cheaper. Our solution is more efficient on the time saving cost. So there are nuances to each and every use case. What I'm saying is that you need to consider the alternatives that the business can potentially use compared to your potential AI agent automation or a workflow. And here is a simple graph. Again, I wouldn't say that it's a very accurate representation, just to show you that there are, there's like an effectiveness and there's cost and speed to implementation. So all these things need to be balanced. And if we are generalizing, guys, AI can be applied to hundreds of different use cases across hundreds of different niches. I'm generalizing it as a whole, point, showing that if you look at this graph here, it's hard to see which one is better because everything has pros and cons. For some industry, for some specific use cases, AI solutions would be at the far right spectrum that would outperform everything else. On some, it's gonna be on the far left spectrum. So you need to be aware of what you're selling. So when it comes to building an actual tangible business, a sustainable business that you can rely on, it all comes down to selling, then marketing, and then building. Let me give you an example. So, as I said, I have the conversational sales system. It's called OnePrompt, where you can start selling it to your clients within 1 week, okay? You can watch the video now. I'm not promoting it right now. I just want to give you an example. So the only thing that it does is it groups all the agents that you can integrate into the business sales pipeline into one box, gives you an access to all these agents through an interface and through the backend, as well as all the education and support you need. So if you think about this, you do not always need to focus on the things that needs to be developed first and then sold. You can get something like this and start selling to your clients very fast. Now, guys, I'm not saying that this is the only solution in the world. Now, I know that this is the best when it comes to sales systems, and people and businesses are ready to buy sales system automations because it brings them money, and I talk about it a lot on this channel. But you can apply it to anything, okay? You can apply it to the agent that you find on the YouTube for free. You can apply it to the template or to the solution that you build yourself in like 3 months, okay? Before developing something, if you are going your own route, if you are trying to figure it out yourself, now maybe you have, a really good way to partner up with someone who understands that. Now, my agency, Quimple, has a network of partners. This is not the majority, but about like 20 to 30% of the clients that come to my agency come from the partnership network. Because these people, my partners, have really good reputation within a certain industry. They have connections, they have a network. And we do the fulfillment. But we're not acting like an outsourced team, because this is just not the way how I would want to build a business. We're actually partners. We're usually doing 50-50 to 70-30% split. If you want me to talk about kind of the partnership opportunities a bit more and how you can build the network of partners later, let me know in the comments. But generally speaking, these guys understood that they don't want to spend like a month developing it. They want to partner up with someone like us. Now, of course, there are not that many people like us. You can find developers, but again, depending on the developer, they might want to do it solo. They might have fantasies of building multi-million-dollar business alone. That's why it's not an easy task to find a good partner. So you have two options. Yeah, sure, you can get this, and this is what a lot of people like within our license holders do, right? So they don't want to spend a month developing the systems, and they just, get our infrastructure. They adopt it to the use case of the industry they're trying to sell it to, and then start selling it within a few weeks. Or on an opposite spectrum, you would say, sure, I will figure this out myself. But now you need to be very, very cautious. Very cautious. You don't need to be stuck in the infinite loop of AI tutorials, guides, and courses. Because when you're here alone, right, you haven't found a partner, you didn't get a system in a box, you decided to figure it out yourself. This is a very, very, very tight edge where you need to get enough knowledge to build an MVP to show to businesses and then try to sell it and prove your concept. Okay? Make them pay for something, get them interested, sign the contract, sign the intent of the purchase. And then you can hire a developer, freelancer to finalize the MVP or finalize it yourself. But what usually happens, unfortunately, these little guys are not trying to build an MVP. They always jump back and forth between different tools, tutorials, agents, trying to figure out what works. And then they build this, V1 MVP, and then a new tool is added. A new model is getting introduced, and they think, oh, I need to also do that. Awesome. Then the MCP is getting introduced. I also need to do that. Okay, no, it's not working. Okay, vibe coding. I need to do the interface for the solution. Okay. And now this shit never ends. Okay? Never ends. So now, instead of doing the business, you're fucking doing nothing. Okay? And I think this is the reality of the majority of the market right now. So if you don't have like any customers, it's a hobby that's pretty, standard. But what you also need to understand is, even if you don't, if you're starting out, you need to understand the concept. You need to understand the basics. Guys, this is the business 101. I am not Alex Hormozi, who is going to teach you how to build a business, okay? I am giving you my experience within the AI industry because it's relatively new. It's very new, okay? Not relatively, it's very new. But I'm not going to teach you how to build an agency, okay? I am not going to teach you how to build a business. Watch Jeff Bezos interviews, okay? Whatever. Understand that you need to figure out who is buying, who is your ideal customer, where they are at. So how to get the eyeballs, will they pay for it, and how to reach them. Okay? Before, please, before. Yeah, guys, sure. Watch the videos. But don't try to build it before you figure this out. I know that a lot of you will not listen to me. They'll say, hey, Eugene, yeah, but I don't have any industry. I don't know where to start, like what to do. So I will try to build it and then we'll apply it to the industry. Fuck off. No, okay? Guys, I understand it. I get it. Now listen, I have the empathy. I truly, I swear to God, like I understand where you're coming from. I was in your place, okay? But I'm not saying that I'm the smartest guy in the world, okay? Even though, yeah, of course, like I have the big ego. This is my weakness. Like I need to work on that. So I might think that I'm the smartest guy in the world, but in reality, I am not talking because I think this way. I'm talking because I see this because of my content. Look at my LinkedIn. I have 18,000 followers, okay? I have 8,000 newsletter list, okay? So every time I send a newsletter, I get like 50 replies back. So I talk to people, like I reply to every comment, to every DM, everywhere. Like, guys, everywhere. You can be sure, if you send me a DM, I will reply. If it's not a promotional, I will reply. I'm not like saying that I'll help. I will fucking reply, okay? Me, not the bot. So I talk to people and I see that and I want to help, okay? So it doesn't work, okay? It doesn't work. Like you're trying to build an agent without understanding it's not going to fucking work. Now, yes, guys, like, of course, I'm exaggerating. I'm generalizing. You need to understand, okay, the tools that you're gonna use. Okay, let's take an example, our sales system, right? So, you watch the videos like mine, you understand, okay, good. So, marketing, AI marketing is a gimmick. You don't want to focus on saving time. You want to focus on sales. Sure. Sales. So how do I automate sales? So like sales automation AI. Okay. Sure. You like go watch the videos. You like understand this is a Clay. It's probably AI SDR. Will I be here? Probably not. That's unfortunate. So you don't watch this video. So like you will see like what people are saying, like, okay, what are the tools for AI sales? Okay, I feel like there is very little good videos. Like whatever, sales Eugene Cadden, like do that. You watch that. So what I'm saying is that sure, you need to understand the basics of where you're going, into what tools you would want to use, what kind of solution, how you would want it to look like, and then you go here and you try to figure out the business plan. Now, I'm not saying that you need to start reaching out to these companies, selling something without you having the product. No, I'm not saying that. What I do say is that you understand that you want to focus on the sales. Okay. Let's say you would want to build something like a conversational sales system that we have yourself. You don't want to purchase our license. Sure. Now, you'll watch the videos, you'll understand the basics. Okay? Then you'll understand, okay, so I want to focus potentially on the med spas. I want to focus on the building AI SDR for a wholesalers in Canada. So you're like, why? Like, okay, like I would ask, like, why do you like? But once you understand that, then you actually understand the problems, going back to why they would want to pay you for something and what their problems are. And once you get this, you will try to solve this problem by building shit. Okay? I'm not the guy. Okay, no. Like, you don't need to reach out to them already without even the MVP trying to sell something. No. But once you're starting to build something, you really would want to understand what problem you're solving for this company. And this is the only way. So, yeah, I mean, the market is packed, it's crowded, but there is no saturation. Funny enough, I posted a video very recently on my YouTube channel that got 500 views, which is pretty unfortunate. I think that it's a really good video. It explains why there is no saturation in the AI market and why you do not need to be afraid of the competition, because it doesn't exist. But to make it short, it doesn't exist because everyone fucking focus on development and not solving problems. Yeah, there are hundreds of other people, apps launching globally, trying to do the same features. The success rate is very low. The failure rate is very high, of course, and it looks scary, but look, in reality, this is the stats for these people, for the developers, for the majority of the market. If you try to go backwards, if you don't give a shit about the interfaces, vibe coding, or other bullshit, if you care about solving a real problem that the business has already solved and your solution is more efficient compared to the actual business solution that they are already using or not using and could potentially use, you will succeed. Find the pain, fix the pain, get paid. Pretty easy. The last thing that I want to say is, it's a bit like a spoiler alert for the next video, one of the next videos that come to my channel, where I will explain the pricing structure. But going back to the actual solutions that businesses consider or could use. So let's say you're building an AI setter now. So the one prompt solution that we're selling ourselves, I'm not talking about the licenses, that we're selling, is the AI setters for, health and wellness professionals. One of the niches that we're targeting. Now, guys, guess what? Appointment setters is not something new, okay? And it's very hard to say, we have such a cool new AI setter. Fuck no, you don't. Like, it's just appointment setter, a robot. Okay, it's gonna do the same thing as the best AI set, like best appointment setter in the world. Okay, it of course depends, but our setters can. Okay, so here's the positioning. You'll say, hey, we have our one prompt, right? And you have your, human setter, okay? They're the same thing, okay? I would tell you even more. Maybe our setter is 90%, so 10% worse than the human setter, or in 20%, depending on the business. Because guess what? AI is still not perfect. But let's say that. And we'll be open on the sales call. Say, hey, it's going to be 20% worse. But when it comes to the efficiency, you're not able to engage with all the leads with one setter. Okay? It's either you need to have a really good setter working 14 hours a day, or you need 3 setters. Okay, so for the 3 setters, for, you know, let's say $6 per hour, you're gonna pay eventually $18 per hour. We are gonna give you the setter for $1 per hour. It's gonna be worse, but it's gonna outperform everything and will make you more money. Now, again, spoiler alert, I will create a separate video on the pricing, but this is, guys, what I mean. Like, this is the sauce of the video. This is the main point, okay? No one gives a shit on your, either it's AI setter that is interface based, either it's AI agent, automation, fucking chatbot, or whatever. It's all about this and this, okay? So if you say it's going to be better than humans, sure. I mean, if you can prove that, kudos to you. But when it comes to the communication, even to the customer support, it depends, okay? It depends on the complexity of the business. So this, you know, let's say from here, you'll get like 5 points to the human setter, and you'll get like 2 points here. So it's like 2 versus 5. But here you'll have, you know, 2 points to the human setters because of the price, inefficiency with the price. And here you'll have, you know, 15 points to the AI setter. So generally you have 7 points here and 17 points here. So this wins. And that is why, Mr. Business Owner, you will pay me $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for the setup, plus $1 per hour for the setter for the rest of your life. So the point, guys, is that you need to be smart on what you're building and understand who your customer is, what real problems they have, and how they currently solve them. And when you understand how they're currently solving, you can track the actual agencies, companies, software that already fixing the problem, right? Then understanding if you can make it more efficient, understand how to reach them out, launch the MVP, and start making money. And of course, this, you know, if you can make it more efficient, yeah, I mean, this is what the content is for. YouTube, paid resources, free resources, consultations, license programs, or whatever. Sure, you need to figure this out, and it's not easy. And yes, you need to focus on the development, but you focus on that once you got these basics. Most of the people just don't have it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll reply to each and every comment, and you have a great one. Thanks for watching. Peace.